Hello Retro Kev, back again with another little video, doing a pickup video today. Now I don't normally do many pickup videos because I don't routinely pick up loads of stuff. I mean, you look around my gaming area and there's a lot of stuff, but as I've said before, I pick it up over a long period of time. But then I thought to myself, over the last sort of 6 weeks to 2 months really, I have picked up some bits and bobs, so I thought we'll do a little pickup video. Now, before I get going on that, I did my visit to Skegness. Those who follow the channel will know I went to Skeg Vegas, as they call it, looking for some vintage arcade cabinets. Now, I wasn't really looking for the really old ones. I knew I wouldn't find anything from the sort of early 80s, but I was thinking maybe there might be stuff from the later time period, 80s and 90s, because I have, looked at some YouTube videos where people have found, there's an outrun in Skeggy somewhere. Now, it may have disappeared quite recently, but there were 2 or 3 machines, but I wasn't lucky enough to find them. So I couldn't really do a long talky video walking around Skegness when, the idea behind it was to find older machines. I didn't find any. So that's why I did a 2-minute video, set to music of the day in Skegness. Me and my wife had some really, really great fun. And I tell you what, Skegness is junk food heaven. Blimmin' hell, the stuff there, the waffles, ice creams, everywhere you look. I tell you, if I lived anywhere near that place, I'd be as big as a house. Blimmin' great stuff. But yeah, that was why I did a little 2-minute video. Anyway, on to the pickups. Now, I'm going to sort of branch out a little bit. Most of them are games, but there's a couple, 2 or 3 other things. And I thought, why not, include them in the video. Now, I've got a few specky games. I really love me ZX Spectrum, so let's start with this one. Now, I like my movie tie-ins. I did a video on some movie tie-ins, which I am going to do a follow-up to at some point. But I picked up this one, Short Circuit. I think it might be about 1985. I could be wrong. But yeah, quite an enjoyable film at the time. It was a type of film that was readily available in the mid-80s. But yeah, quite a funny film. But I had a little brief look of this one on YouTube. Now, when I get a game that I don't know much about, I don't do too much of a deep dive because I like to sort of find out stuff when I'm playing. So I just had a brief. It looks quite an interesting little game, but we'll see. If you've got any information on that game, any hints, because as I've said before, one of the main reasons I do my channel is because, I'm not the best gamer. I would just call myself a fairly average gamer. I do get stuck on games. So if you have any tips on any game I talk about, always comment. It really would help me out. So that's the Spectrum game. Another one, another sort of tie-in. This is a sort of show, as in a show and a film. But it's the Rocky Horror Show. Everybody probably has heard of that. Richard O'Brien, obviously a very clever guy, did the Crystal Maze as well. But yeah, played this one briefly. Looks like you sort of go around the house and you sort of pick up pieces to a great picture. You bring them into a main room and you put them up. It's almost like putting a big puzzle together. But that's about as much as I know. Music seemed quite good on this game. So that's the Rocky Horror Show. If you know anything about that one, let me know. Now this one, you have to be of a certain age to know about this one. Now, there was a TV program on BBC back in the day called Yes Prime Minister. Really cleverly written, satirical, political, half-hour comedy, all set at number 10. Absolutely hilarious. Even back then I used to think, I was quite young, but I thought, yeah, it was quite funny. My mum and dad would laugh a lot when they watched it. But yeah, so this is on the Spectrum. It looks text-based. I've had a brief look at it. But yeah, we'll give it a go. Quite a nice box. And I thought it looks like it's sort of mimicked on the budget box, whatever, to do with the number 10. But yeah, any thoughts on that one? Let me know. So that's the 3 specky games. And now I've got one Dreamcast game. Now, I'm a big fan of Resident Evil, but on the Dreamcast, I didn't get a Dreamcast at the time. I went a different way with my gaming, but I have got, as you can see, back there, the Dreamcast. Now, where I work, there's quite a lot of people, and you sort of get a name for what you do, and they know I'm into retro gaming. So a guy came up to me, found his Dreamcast in his loft or whatever, and said, "Hey, Kev, if you make me a reasonable offer, you can have it." So yeah, I did. So I've only got a few games that came with it. So I don't have any sort of real collection as such, but this is one of my first ones. My nephew bought it for me. If you're out there, really, really grateful. But it's Resident Evil Code Veronica. I've heard really, really great things about this. I've got the PS2 version. And as I say, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, but I've just never played this. And I can't wait to play this. Wherever I sort of look on YouTube, people say this is a very, very good version. So let me know what you think about that one. Now, I've got about 4 PS2 pickups. Now, I sort of jumped from the PS1 to PS3. It sounds a bit weird, but that's the way it happened for me. So obviously I've got a PS2. I just got it later, so my knowledge of the PS2 isn't fantastic. So I'm sort of picking up games here and there when I hear about something and I think it's good. So this one I've been after for a while. This one is the Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction. Now, I've heard great things about this. Now, it's not meant to have an in-depth story or anything, but it's just meant to be a fun game. Love The Incredible Hulk, always like The Incredible Hulk. I sort of like the sort of recent film, was the one with Edward Norton. I thought that was quite a decent Hulk movie. But yeah, I can't wait to play this. Someone's told me it's just sort of game you can put on for half an hour and Hulk smash. That's basically what you do. This looks great fun. So that's the first PS. Now this one is sacrilege. You'll probably have a go at me in the comments, but I haven't really played this. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I know, sacrilege, but it sort of passed me by, but I've always wanted it. You know, it came up on my eBay, really quite cheap. I think I picked it up for about £4, something like that. And I have seen it, obviously, and I think I played it briefly, but not at someone else's house, really. So, you know, you've probably got a lot to say about this game. Apparently, it's, you know, pretty special, so I'm looking forward to playing that one. Now, recently I did my arcade cabinet video, my arcade machines, my favourite ones. And on there was Phoenix. Now, I picked up this very, very compilation for that reason. Taito, Legends, got some top games on here. I think it's got Rainbow Island, obviously got Space Invaders. And Continental Circus, I think, is on here. I've not got my glasses on because when I wear my glasses, it reflects too much of the light in my room. But yeah, so some real classics on there. And obviously Phoenix. The sort of version of Phoenix on this is really good. Now, I can't remember Phoenix exactly from back in the day in the arcade cabinets, but I think this is pretty close, or if not exactly the same. So I was happy to get that. Now, this one, Spartan Total Warrior. Now, I've heard this is another fun one. You know, apparently nothing special, but looks like great fun. It looks like, you know, I'm just going to go around sort of hacking and slashing with this one. So, yeah, you know. You are the Spartan, you are the Total Warrior. Hey, I don't think that'll be me when I play it. But yeah, that's that. Now onto a little bit of hardware. I picked this one up by mistake. I'm quite experienced with eBay now. You know, I've been on eBay. My 20-year anniversary thing came up on eBay the other day. So I normally don't make many mistakes on eBay. I do my research. I don't buy from anybody who looks even slightly dodgy. But I picked this one up. Now, the seller wasn't dodgy. It was my mistake, but I was looking for a paddle because I love Arkanoid, the game Arkanoid, where you obviously through the wall type gaming. To have a paddle and to control it left and right, you're going to get a much better score. So I was looking for a paddle, but unfortunately, I thought you'd move this around like that, but you don't. You press it like this as a button. I think this is a Quick Shot 7. I think it's down as, but so I started playing Arkanoid with this, and actually I got the hang of it, and I'm quite pleased to have this now. So quirky little thing to have, but I'm pleased to have it. Excuse me, I've got a big frog in my throat. But yeah, now onto something a little bit more quirky. Two things that are quirky. Now, if anyone's seen Toy Story, you'll know the toy repair guy. He's a pretty old guy. I'm not quite as old as that character. I think that guy sort of looks like he's in his 80s. But he uses a certain type of pair of glasses. Now, I have got to that age, unfortunately. I do repair the odd thing. I don't do any major repairs. Occasionally, I've sort of ventured into soldering. I've fixed the Move controllers on my PS3, which needed a bit of soldering. But to help me see, I picked up these. Oh my God, I don't want to look at myself that close. But yeah, these, my wife bought me these, but these are blimmin' great. I tell you, you actually can change the glass to the thickness of the lens you use. These are the thickest ones that help me the most. But yeah, you just pop them on there, put them on your head. I think there's even a light there somewhere. I'm not sure. Yeah, there's a light. Don't want to use it too much. It'll affect my camera. But yeah, these are blimmin' great. I was so pleased my wife bought me these. And this next one I bought myself. It's the old grabber. You may laugh, but the amount of times I drop games down the back, the way I've set up here, I've got a little gap around the back of about 2 or 3 inches. And oh God, I'm always bumping into things. I bump into the shelf ever so slightly. 3 or 4 of my Spectrum games drop down. I used to have to drag everything out, half break my back. No more, because I have the grabber. £5 or £6 really well spent. Now, a couple more things to show. As I say, I'm going to branch out a little bit. Now, I love my movies, so my local charity shop, it's quite a small charity shop, but I found this, The French Connection, 1971, but on Blu-ray, £2. I mean, I don't know how much it goes for on eBay, but I thought that was a real bargain. Classic film. Tough film. Gene Hackman, what an actor Gene Hackman is. He passed away recently. Fantastic actor. His part in The Unforgiven, you know, is absolutely brilliant. But yeah, top guy, and this is a top film. Obviously one of the greatest car chases, if not the greatest car chase in movie history. But if you've not seen The French Connection, check it out. Sorry, again, my throat. But the last thing I'm going to show now, I'm not a massive board game person. I do play board games at Christmas, and you know, I do enjoy a board game at times. But same day I found The French Connection, I found this Dungeon Quest board game, £3.50. Absolutely looks fantastic. Fantastic box cover. Now, on a bit of research, I'm probably jumping in too deep with this game because by all accounts it's a tough game. You know, I think you've got roughly about 10 to 15% chance of completing the game or even finishing. Apparently you go into a dungeon castle and you have to get out again trying to steal treasures, etc. Apparently there's a lot of luck involved, and you know, you don't get out very often. But I'll be dragging my wife into playing this game at some point, but we're going to give it a go. You know, why not? It looks lovely. It looks like all the bits are in there, so £3.50, I couldn't go wrong. So yeah, that's Dungeon Quest. But anyway, that's my pickup video. So I think there's a good few items there, but I thought it was worth doing. You know, I'm always on the lookout. I love going to charity shops, you know, sort of car booties. You never know what you're going to find. I think that's the attraction. But anyway, like and subscribe if you've liked the video, and I'll be putting something else up very soon. Take care, everybody.